All right, welcome back to the Chiseled Runner. As you know, my name is Jason. Hey, let's get right into the running mechanics, starting with the foot strike. Now, we'll talk about the posture and the breathing as well, but how important is that foot strike, right? It's where everything begins, the foundation, the fundamentals, really where all the energy that impacts that body starts to flow throughout your body. So what do we want to see with our midsole foot strike, and what do we want to feel? Well, we're aiming to achieve that midsole foot strike. As we talked about, it's sort of like high-fiving your best friend and just feeling the palm, hit palm there. We're aiming to feel the sole of the foot just strike the surface of the ground in a flat high-five-like manner. So how do we achieve this midsole foot strike? Well, let's begin by standing tall. Put your feet right underneath your hips, and they should look like a number 11, parallel feet. As we mentioned, the sternum and the belly button, as we begin some posturing here through our run, we want to get some separation, some length between there to feel some stretch through our abdomen. Being careful not to arch through the back, but more or less rise and erect through the rib cage and carriage. From here, we're going to focus on 3 basic cues to get the lift of our leg the way we want to begin our lift. Now remember, we got the lift, we're going to have a strike, and then we're going to have a drag, and that's going to help us practice and drill in our foot strike as we improve our mechanics from the ground up. So we have our lift, our strike, and our drag. Now our lift is going to begin with 3 simple cues. It starts with a toe, which means you lift your toes. Let's start with just your right foot. As you stand tall, lift the toes of the right foot and nothing but the toes. So there's very minimal movement. If you see my toes here from a side angle, they barely lift up just like that. Now from this point, all we're going to do is lift up the heel. And when I say lift up the heel, I mean just like 1/8 of an inch. Very little lift here. We're looking at 1/8 to maybe 1/4 of an inch. It's going to look just like this. Now, once I've got my toe and my heel off the ground, I'm going to lift my thigh, keeping my heel right along the inside of my leg. And that's going to look just like this. Again, my toe lifts, my heel lifts, and then my thigh lifts. And what we want to be able to achieve is that if I were to tap the inside of my opposing leg, what we want to be able to achieve is if I were to take my heel of my lifted leg and push it inward, it should tap the knee on the opposing leg. So again, from an outside angle, my toe lifts, my heel lifts, and then my whole thigh lifts, being able to tap in to that knee on the opposing side. Looking at it from one more angle here again, nice and tall, separation from sternum to belly button, toe, heel, thigh lifts, and that's what we're aiming to achieve right there. And what you see we achieve with the toe, the heel, the thigh lifting is a dorsiflexion through the foot. The dorsiflexion is absolutely critical to improving the quality of your run and to sustaining that midsole foot strike or variation thereof as we improve our speeds. Now to quickly break down the importance of our midsole foot strike and oftentimes why there may be some crosstalk and even some disagreement and some contention about how a foot should be striking upon the surface that you're running, whatever it may be. The midsole foot strike is our baseline foot strike we're trying to achieve. And this is for a trot style of a run, a jog style of a run, or even some of our slower run style of runs. That midsole foot strike is going to be the optimal foot strike to distribute energy throughout the body effectively. Now, as we do pick up speeds and you start to take that high run into a hard run and a hard run up even to a sprint, yes, you're going to notice yourself running a little bit forward on that foot, even up to the balls of the foot as the speed increases. But I'll tell you what, those running mechanics, starting with the toe, the heel, the thigh, lifting to create that dorsiflexion through the foot and ankle as that whole leg lifts, that is your key to greatness. That is your key to speed, and that is your key to endurance. Because again, no matter how fast or slow you're running, that basic running mechanic of that dorsiflexion by toe, heel, thigh lift is going to get you more of what you want in your running game.